I installed one of the reactors from Chernobyl in my Lenovo ThinkStation D30, so you don't have to wonder what it's like. So some of my longtime subscribers will remember this. This is a Zotac Amp Edition GeForce GTX 980 that I paid $100 for, and while it's a fantastic card and the GPU is plenty fast, the 4 gig frame buffer is what really holds it back, I feel like, because I run my games at 1440p and it just, well, fills up too quick, the RAM that is. The GPU is great, it's fast, especially when it overclocks like, you know, nobody's business, but it's definitely held back by the 4 gigs of RAM. So what's the only sensible thing to do? Get on eBay and buy one of AMD's most power hungry, hottest running cards, besides the 290X, ever to be made. I present to you guys a Radeon RX Vega 64, or Vega RX 64, whatever. This thing's hot, it's big, it's power hungry. Now this card's an absolute monster. It's not the biggest, it's not the best cooler they ever made for these, but for the case configuration that I'm rocking, you know, a pre-built workstation, having a card that doesn't exhaust all of its hot air directly into the case is a huge advantage. And honestly, this card doesn't run that hot. I was kind of dramatic, to the point where I almost felt a little bit extra for installing a higher airflow fan in the back and a better fan up in this front shroud right here, and then also routing it all to a front fan controller, which is still cool. This little switch right here in the middle of the screen is what I thought to be a BIOS selector switch, but it turns out that this is actually to swap between 2 BIOSes, which is correct, but it also limits the power draw from 180 to 220 watts, which isn't that accurate. Even the CPUs run a lot cooler now, since they're not trying to move so much hot air produced from the GPU that rises up to the top of the case being pulled through the coolers. So, win-win, right? So pretty much the whole reason for this is my desk setup. Every single display here is 1080p besides this middle Dell U2711B, which is a 1440p monitor, which just so happens to be, when I'm, you know, playing at my desk, my primary gaming monitor. And when I'm not at my desk, I'll play on this 55-inch 1080p TV. So, at idle right now, the Vega 64 rather is idling at a mere 39 degrees, which is even lower than my 980 idled, which is pretty awesome. So that's hard to beat. So essentially my reasoning behind this video was to kind of tell you, if you were planning to go to a card that can draw north of 400 watts, to be sure that you undervolt it, because if you try to run many tests or games for that matter, you will trigger OCP on your power supply, which is overcurrent protection. So just kind of a PSA, but let's go ahead and take a look at what the system load is whenever it's being stressed, CPUs and GPU. So this is sitting idle. This is not an energy efficient system by any means. That's 250 watts, 120 volt. So I'm going to start MSI Combustor burn-in test at 1440p. It's loading right now. Keep in mind the test has not started. Now the test started. So that's kind of what you can expect from GPU. There we go. That's 32 threads of Prime 95 small FFTs running over here, and Combustor running on this monitor. And yeah, it spikes up initially for a little bit while my CPUs are in their turbo 3.8 gigahertz stage, and then once they begin to settle in closer to 3 gigahertz, then it starts to drop down a little bit, but we're still drawing almost 900 watts. I mean, it was 900 to begin with before they came out of their turbo period. On the stock Vega 64, I was seeing power draw cresting 1100, which is extremely close to the 1120 watt limit. Now you're thinking that's for a single CPU system, and yes, but this is a dual CPU system, single GPU system. This is an extremely loaded system with only one GPU. I've got 64 gigs, 16 times 4 sticks of DDR3 ECC, 10 drives in total, and a bunch of add-in cards, including a 10 gigabit NIC, a high-end sound card, and a RAID controller, along with a Quadro K2000D. So it's got its fair share. This computer handles it just fine. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you guys what to expect if you're going to be doing anything similar to this, because I know these workstations commonly get repurposed as gaming systems, and you know, just retrofitted with new hardware. And while the Vega 64 isn't new at this point, it's still a viable option. So thank you all for watching, and if I was able to help you guys in any way at all, let me know down in the comments. I'm open to any questions you guys may have. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in a future video. Bye guys.